welcome to Kentucky Speedway for the 10th round of the 2016 Premier Racing League Coastal Safety Auditors Grand National Series. This is the Kentucky 150 and we're going to have it all for you live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Samuel Ryman, alongside me is Michael Smith. Behind the scenes we have our director Amjad Yamin and also Joe Peak helping us out, and our camera sets today are provided by Dougie Beard. We want to apologise for the late start. We have had 4 laps of green flag running. However, not a whole lot changed up front. Jeff Ward has been leading the field since the drop of a green flag. 24 cars in this race, 27 in the session, but 24 took the green. 21 of them set qualifying times. The first caution of the race came out from Mark Allen, who got loose coming out of turn 2 and got a bit of tap from behind after he got loose, and that sent him into the inside wall. Not too much major damage. The second half of the field came into the pits under this caution flag to get new tyres, because tyre wear will be an issue tonight. It's a 100 lap race. It's lap 5. We're getting ready to go back to green. Jeff Ward leads them to the line. We're racing again, Smithy.
Indeed we are, and look, these guys are getting a big run. There's Jeff Ward, a huge jump at the beginning. He's going to be able to slot to the outside. It's going to be big for him. If you can get to your own marks and hit your own spots all the way through, it's going to be big. But you can see second place, it is Wright. And on the outside of him is Ryan as they go down to the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan will take a position, and that is where he started this in second place. But a nice little battle going on there. Track temperature very high today, 121 degrees, which sounds like these guys would be sliding around. However, in practice, the drivers were reporting that although it was a loose condition, it was drivable. So we should see some exciting racing out there tonight, and we're seeing that in the middle of the pack right now.
Well, indeed, you know, this place actually does harbor a bunch of that exciting racing, as Kentucky's got a bit of character to it. Not exactly the smoothest joint on the planet. He's got quite a few bumps, especially starting to get down to the bottom there in turns 1 and 2. 3's got a little bit of action to it, but really it's about coming out of the corner nice and smooth. You can see these guys starting to go smooth, single file as they go down into turn number 1. Really what you're going to see is this is not the typical cookie cutter kind of 1.5 mile circuit. You're going to be turning a lot around here. You're turning almost the entire time. Only a small straight bit on the back straightaway. These guys are going to earn any kind of finish they get today.
So we already mentioned that Jeff Ward was our Savage Spinners Pole Award winner, and right now he is leading to Tommy Ryan, who's actually not letting him get too far away. Currently the rest of the top 10 is Brian Yarzik, Jake Wright, Brian Mellendorf, Woodrow Mahan, DJ Beverly, James Kahula and Pierre Daigle and Jeff Ryan at the completion of 8 laps, but I'm sure those positions will change around, and right now one of the best battles we have shaping up is for the lead. Tommy Ryan is not letting Jeff Ward get too far in front. He's looking to the inside.
No, he is for sure. You can see that little bit of ebb and flow going on right now. You got Ryan taking a look at the inside there for a second. That is that yellow and black number 6. He's taking a look at Ward, who he's already seen as a winner this year. Not a regular driver in the field. He's only done 3 starts up to this point. But in that Chevy Camaro, he's looking pretty good today. In that Bose 89, looking pretty good, but he's got Ryan all the way on the back end. Ryan, a former winner. He's got a lot of strong talent behind him. In 3rd place, Ryan Yarzik. We saw him come from the back to the front in the last round we saw him here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of these guys from further back come up, including Jake Wright, former winner, P4.
Yeah, wins are very important in this series because they lock you into the chase, but only if you're in the top 20 in points. Right now, Jeff Ward is 20th in points and has 1 win. Granted, a 2nd win tonight would move him a lot more positions up the standings. However, last week's winner wasn't broadcast on the PSRC, but Woodrow Mahan won at Talladega Superspeedway. He's outside the top 20 in points. So, as Tommy Ryan gets loose coming out of turn 4 there in 2nd position, so he would need to have a good night tonight. Mind you, the chase is a long way away, but Tommy Ryan getting loose, that has allowed Brian Yarzik in 3rd place to reel him in a bit. Yarzik has been one of the biggest movers up front early. He started in 6th, he's up to 3rd.
Indeed, as you say, the chase is a big deal, but a lot of these guys are starting to show some form here as the season progresses. You see Jeff Ward out front, Tommy Ryan, P2, Yarzik, Wright, Mellendorf, Mahan, Beverly, Daigle, Ryan, and Lawrence, your top 10. All these guys have seen toward the sharp end all day. The few people were a little surprised not to see Krahula at the sharp end. We're not seeing him up there. Hasser not up there. So a few guys we usually see at the front end. Paul Pepper, another one of those drivers, not there right now. These guys are having their time in the sun. Jeff Ward out front. Ryan P2. Gonna be wondering if these guys are a little bit okay with running around here. We got a 100 lap race to go. This is only lap 13.
Well, you mentioned Joe Hazard. I'm keeping an eye on him. He started in 20th place and he's now up to 10. And bringing behind him, he's got Dale Mears, who started in 22nd. He was one of 3 starters who did not turn a lap during qualifying, and that's because he only just joined the section before the start of a green flag. He has already worked his way up to 22nd and into 11th place. We've got 100 laps here, and it's early days right now, lap 14, so these drivers should be at the front by the end of it. Talking about the front, it's getting quite close up there again. Tommy Ryan, after his early mistake, has ran Jeff Ward back down again.
Yeah, indeed he has. He's starting to see these top 3s trying to break away a little bit. Of a small gap there right there in P4. You got Mellendorf and Wahan. Again, Mahan, there's the winner of the previous run. Wright is a former winner. Yatu, we saw him towards the sharp end as well. So there's no shortage of talent here at the sharp end. You got trying to start to play the game a little bit here. What do you have underneath you? Do you have a field where you can go the long run, or do you need to get after it now? Remember, these guys are running fixed setups, so it's not like you've been able to put some time in on your specific run, set your style. No, instead you got to try to fit the fixed setup. How can you make it work for not just the short, but the long run indeed?
And James Krahula coming into the pits on lap 15. Well, I don't know if this is an unscheduled or an extreme short pit strategy. Maybe he's thinking it will go green to the end. I wouldn't be optimistic about that, considering we had a caution on lap 3. These drivers can get about 35 to 40 laps on fuel, so even at that rate, this is a stretching and one-stop strategy. Didn't really see him get involved in any incidents, so I don't know why we have Krahula down in the pits so early.
Glad you say this could be an interesting call here. I have to assume there's a bit of an issue there. I mean, Krahula did qualify towards the sharp end. I mean, this is a guy who qualified P4. It's a guy we've seen towards the sharp end all season long. He's had a couple of wins to his name. For him to start P4 and back in 24th, not the normal deal. These guys are going to be going somewhere in the neighborhood of 25-40 laps when it comes to the fuel program. But tire wear is a bigger issue. So we're looking at least 2 stops. We're looking at 3 stints for this 100 lap race. I'm having a hard time talking today.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on the sharp end of the field. You keep referring to it, and it keeps getting close up here. That gap between the top 3 and the pack behind has closed down a little bit. Brian Jarzik, 3rd place, is the last driver in that lead pack. Drake Wright in 4th place is the leader of the 2nd pack. Right now, that's not a battle going on back there. That's James Krahula coming out of the pits. And now we'll get an idea, Smithy, of just how much tyres make a difference. Because Krahula, after pitting, has about 15 laps fresher tyres than the leaders. And you can already see him about to go by Woodrow Mahan here.
Well, indeed, he's going to start making hay when the sun shines. But the question is, how much gain is he going to have? 2 laps down right now, that green car. Krahula, number 24, is trying to make inroads here to the guys in front. But he is 2 laps down. If he can get around these guys, he's going to make it 1 lap down. He'll get that the lucky dog award if the yellow does come out. But Krahula, a long way to go if he's going to start making things happen for the front.
And with a lot of drivers in this field today, you can follow along now with live timing and scoring on the Global Sim Racing Channel website, so be sure to check it out. We're also on social media if you have questions for us on YouTube, Twitter at GSR Channel, and also at Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. And we've got 24 cars we're going to be trying to cover today, but as you can see, one of them seems to have a bit of a predictable race going on right now. Jeff Ward has the lead, although I've got to wonder this late in the run, Smithy, with the cars behind him dropping back a bit, Do you think this could be tyre wear coming into play? Has Jeff Ward saved his tyres early on, whereas the drivers behind him have maybe burned their tyres off just trying to keep up with him?
Well, that's a real good question. I mean, when we're looking at 35, 40 laps of fuel, we're about halfway through that fuel run right now. We got eyes on Krahula as he starts to make his way through. This is going to be a lap less. He is one down. He's going to try to get around the leader right now to get one lap down only. Yeah, as you say, could it be tire wear? Could we see these guys starting to save a little bit? But with just such a short window on fuel, you're going to want to be very, very careful about how much tire you save. And I got a feeling some of these guys are going to be playing the possible undercut game as you get a little bit closer to that window.
Woodrow Mahan was battling Brian Melendor for 5th position going through turns 1 and 2 last time by, and I think he got pinched down on the low side a little too much and had to back out, and that cost him 6th position to DJ Beverly. Now he's still up there in that second pack, but not as high as he was before. And boy, that second pack, 7th place, you have to go back. I'm reading about 4 seconds here until you get to Del Mears in 8th position. And that's incredible to see Del Mears up that high that early, considering he started at the back of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can make inroads early, it's going to be big here around Kentucky. I mean, it's definitely a place that's not exactly your simple 1.5 mile run. Definitely going to be a situation where if you can get around the joint and be smooth, it actually pays bigger dividends in most places. Kind of a hard place to get into a rhythm. Got some bumps on the inside, or on the outside, you can start getting a run. You start cutting down on that front straightaway. But don't be surprised to see some of these guys take that kind of outer line. You can see it on your screen right now. A little bit of an outer line, carry that momentum, curl it in as you go into turn number 1. So a lot of different options here around Kentucky.
And just like that, we're called the distance. These races fly by when it stays green flag, and most of these drivers will be hoping for it to stay green flag because there are no free repairs in this series. And talking about drivers who haven't had as great of a night, Mark Allen in 23rd place is the only one to have brought out a caution so far on lap 3 when he spun out of turn 2. And whether it's because he's being a bit cautious or maybe he has a bit of damage in his car, he's running in last place of the cars on the lead lap right now in 23rd. James Kahula obviously 1 lap down after his early pit stop. So everyone really still in contention if a caution came out. But there's a long way to go still. We've still got 3/4 of this race to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. And as you said, there's a few cats in the back here that's a little surprised to see. You got, as you say, Krahula, 1 lap down there in 24th. You got Dan Murray back there in 21st. He's the guy we've usually seen at the sharp end. Ellison's been towards there in the front. Jeff Ryan, we've seen him towards the front end. Again, Paul Pepper, 12th. He's been up there as well. You can see on screen right now the 14 at Daigle trying to hold back to the, looks like the 20, looks like that's Paul Pepper, the 29. Again, these two guys have been at the sharp end most of the season. The 14 is trying to hold that inside line. There are multiple ways around here. 28 laps. We're starting to work here around this Kentucky Speedway. All green so far.
In the first turn, DJ Beverly gets tagged from behind. No caution. Now it finally flies. And he's sitting in the middle of the field, was running in the top 5 and got tagged from behind by Woodrow Mahan. And that will bring out our second caution of the 28th lap of this race.
Man, I was just saying that we were going green there, and that just looked like a bit of a miscommunication. I'm not sure what exactly happened. Beverly, a regular at the sharp end, they start heading down to the corner there, and definitely get some help as they go down to that corner. So that's unfortunate for Beverly, having a good run so far. Although I don't think a lot of damage there. He should be still in pretty good shape.
And right in front of them, I mean, the battle was really shaping up there around 5th, 6th, 7th place, because Drake Wright had just began dropping back. They had just seen in front of them Brian Mellendorf move up into 4th place about a lap ahead. Now DJ Beverly still on the lead lap, but he's going to have a lot of repairs, and obviously it'll be hard for him to walk out with the top 5 today. But yeah, Brian Mellendorf, nice job to get up into 4th place there. But now we're about to see pit stops, and everyone's going to be down the pit road and most likely to poor tires, Smithy.
No, absolutely. We get 29, almost 30 laps into the run here. We're talking about a 2-stop strategy anyway. Absolutely, you're going to see some pit stops. As you can see, everybody coming down pit road right now. It's going to get busy. You know who's not going to be coming down pit road, though? It's going to be our lucky dog of James Krahula.
Yeah, Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog, James Krahula, there will stay out and get the wave around, get the lucky dog and get 4 new tyres. Next time around, he'll restart the back of the field, and Tommy Ryan overshoots his pit stall. Yeah, and he came in second, and he's not going to come out second.
Yeah, we can hold on right now. We're going to see how people break off. You're going to see some people maybe do some different strategies as they come off pit road. Big fight as they come off. Looks like it's still going to be Ward possibly as one of the sharp end guys. Very, very close at the front.
Yeah, Jeff Ward led in and led out. Almost didn't though, and took a green cone with him on pit exit. Brian Jarzik moves up into second place, and Tommy Ryan drops all the way back into the middle of the field. Meanwhile, give a shout out to Del Mears. He came into the pits in 7th. He has now broken into the top 5 after starting 22nd today.
Yeah, absolutely. A very strong deal there with Del Mears, getting a good, strong pit stop. It's going to be a good start here as we get going green here in just a couple of laps.
Now I think we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for the restart. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway from the Kentucky 150. We're currently working the second portion of the day, lap 32. This one was for an incident where DJ Beverly got turned in the first turn, and he is currently still on the lead lap, but his car's a bit more beat up than what it once was. And it's going to be Jeff Ward leading them back to green once again here, Smithy.
Yeah, well, you know, you got DJ Beverly, Dan Murray, James Krahula, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Guys who all qualified inside the top 10. Don't be surprised when these guys start making some big inroads. But right now, it is Jeff Ward who's going to lead us to the green. He's got Brian Yacek outside of him. Jake Wright, Brian Mellendorf right behind him. Should be a good one here as we go green.
Yeah, and after overshooting his pit stall, Tommy Ryan dropped all the way back to 12th position. Here comes Jeff Ward, leading the field back to green. Once again, gets a good restart. The battle's going to be on for second. Brian Yacek has his car length in front of Jake Wright right now, but Wright is there challenging him as they come into turns 1 and 2.
I'll tell you what, Ward's got these starts down pat. He's always getting a big jump there. He's going to be nice and free. It's not like a super speed where you got to worry behind you. Already got a car sideways.
Yeah,
like
Mark
Daigle
Allen.
for a second, but Allen, the 19, that is the second issue in a row. Remember, he was possibly part of that issue before.
Yeah, pulled out the first portion today, spinning, coming out of the second turn. Looks like he lost it all on his own in turns 1 and 2 as they were getting up to speed here.
Now, lucky for him, no contact made. We're going to look at a replay here for Daigle. He's in that 14 car, the black and purple monster machine, as they head down to turn number 1. See what happens with him as he starts coming around there on the inside. Looks like the backhand just starts to step out as they come out of turn number 2. He's able to save it for a moment, but then swibs around back the wrong direction. No contact, though, for the 14. Should be in pretty good shape. Just maybe 4 tires and go.
Yeah, so 2 incidents brought out the caution flag right at the same time. There you can you can blame that on the 121 degree track temperature we have out here.
Yeah, as you say, Sam, it's not exactly the easiest conditions for these PRL guys. We're looking at that 120 plus conditions. What we're also looking at, though, is a bit of wind. We've got 10 plus mile an hour coming out of the northwest. Not exactly the easiest conditions around Kentucky today. A place that already has a good amount of character to itself. Again, I mentioned before, a lot of bumps on the inside portion of this circuit, especially as we're heading down at turn number 1 and through number 2. That number 2 can be pretty slick as you start to come on the outside with that right foot. Start diving down on turn number 3 and things can get slick again. She tightens up as you come out of turn number 4. So yeah, not exactly the easiest joint to get around even with these Class B cars today.
No, but what it does mean is not only do we still have all cars on the lead lap, but those that do have a bit of damage are able to come down pit road at the back of the field again and get some repairs. Let's give you a full field rundown while we're under the yellow here, because we haven't mentioned all of the drivers out there tonight. We've got Jeff Ward leading it, Brian Jarzik up to 2nd, Drake Wright and Del Mears is now up into 4th place after starting 22nd. He only really just joined the session before the race started. Woodrow Mahan and Brian Mellendorf in 5th and 6th, behind them Joe Hassett and Paul Pepper. Tommy Ryan and Jody Green round up top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, you got in 11th spot, Brad Fulham, and then Chad Stallman, 11th and 12th. You got Jeff Ryan and Tony Showman here in 13th, 14th. Don Runkle Jr. and Mark Norbert, 15th, 16th. Brandon Smith, Jonathan Lawrence, 17th, 18th. Benny Ellison, DJ Beverly, 19th, 20th. James Krahula, our point leader, 21st with Dan Murray to his outside, 22nd. After that, you're looking at Pierre Daigle. We just saw him in that 14 having some issues. He's going to try and struggle back from the 23rd spot with Mark Allen also with a spin there, 24th.
Coming back in pit road, and who can blame him? The car's a bit beat up. You're not losing anything, although you will be soon because the pace car lights are off and they're about to go back under green again. Didn't have a Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog that time around because everyone's on the lead lap. Shaping up to be an exciting second half of the race, and hopefully these drivers will be able to keep their cars up under them. And I'm thinking you're right there, Smithy, that perhaps it was a gust of wind for us to have 2 cars spin around at the exact same time.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, these guys are usually able to get around here pretty good. As you can see, the lights off on the pace cars. They go down to the back straightaway. All 24 cars on the lead lap, which is a big deal for these guys. These guys are definitely putting on a pretty good show as far as keeping things going. Remember, we had 29 laps in a row under green, almost, with the just sole exception of that early caution. These guys know how to get around here pretty good. You're going to see this pace car peel off here pretty quick, Sam, and I expect we have another long green flag run coming up ahead.
Battle will likely be for second. Jeff Ward has been getting good starts all night long. Here they come back to the green and he gets another one, but Brian Jarzik gets a good restart on the outside as well. He won't have to put up a fight. Well, he might have to put up a fight with Jake Wright, but Jarzik definitely has the advantage going into the first turn. Del Mears up in 4th. How high can he keep continuing to climb?
You can see there the leader Ward on the outside, well and clear. The fight is indeed for second as he slots in there. That is Jarzik in second now. Fight for third. right on the outside to his inside. Does look to be that Mears machine. It's going to be real good here from third on back. Mears to the inside. You're going to have Woodrow on the outside, heading down into turn number 1. Wright's right there with him as well.
You saw 3 wide down the back straight. There's still 3 wide down the front straight. Further back in the field as DJ Beverly tries to make his way up through the field. But they're clean 1 lap around this time, but that could all change. We've got a tight battle going on for 7th as Tommy Ryan is looking to the outside of Joe Hassett. We also, well, that's the first side-by-side battle we got on track right now. They got Ryan Mellendorf in front of him in 6th place.
Pretty good group there with Hassert, Mellendorf, and Ryan. As you can see, Mellendorf cutting down the inside as they go down to turn number 1. Right behind him, that is Ryan and Hassert down in turn number 2. As they curl around there. Now these guys all know how to get around here pretty good. Remember, Ryan was at the sharp end there before that issue on pit road. He's going to curl right in. You see him on board behind Mellendorf. Mellendorf in that Oreo, number 41. Ryan down to the inside, trying to make things happen. The nice thing about Kentucky is you got a lot of room to play with. As you can see, it's pretty wide. You're able to get around 3 wide, and you know what? 3 wide around here is not like 3 wide at Daytona. It doesn't make you quite as nervous. So if you can get around somebody like Ryan just did there, Ryan Mellendorf, it still doesn't make you feel too bad about it. Hassert real close with Pepper there on the 29. Real close there between those 2 drivers. Pepper around sideways a little bit, catches it. He's going to have the 13. That is the 13 of Jody Green making his way around the outside after a mistake from Pepper.
Yeah, Pepper may have got a bit of a wall right now. Here we go, battle for the lead. Brian Yarzik looking down to the inside of Jeff Ward as they come down the front straight, and he knows this is the time that he's got to do it because Jeff Ward proved in the earlier long green flag run that he has a good car in the long run. So if you're going to beat him, you've got to get out front early, and Brian Yarzik with a nice move down the inside in turns 1 and 2. He's in front, and now he can control this portion of the race.
Well, as you say, controlling the race is going to be an important one. I mean, the 55, Brian Yarzik, he's real good at getting 2nd place and getting podium finishes. He's looking to get a little bit more than that today. Out front right now, 42 laps on the board right now. We're trying to make things happen. The 55 out front, as you say, trying to control the show. Jeff Ward's been the guy out front. Let's see if Ward is able to stay with him a little bit, or if Yarzik can control it, be smooth, hit his marks. We know we got 1 more pit stop to make. Question is it going to be under green or is it going to be under yellow?
Right now it looks like Yarzik is checking out ahead of Ward, but how much is he hurting his tyres by doing that? Meanwhile, the previous caution wasn't long enough for Mark Allen. He had to bring his machine back down pit road for several laps to get repairs. That has put him 3 laps down now, and that is going to turn his night into a long night. Although granted, we're not halfway yet, and he's the only car off of a lead lap. But right now, the rest of the field has finally single-filed out, Smithy. First side-by-side battle I see is back for 17th, and actually, well, no, that is continuing. Mark Nobert and Jonathan Lawrence running side-by-side in turns 3 and 4.
No, for sure, those guys are side-by-side. Got a few drivers right behind them trying to make some moves up. Indeed, right now you got almost a 3-wide situation. You see Pierre Deigel, that purple and black machine just behind. Double O in there as well. Runkle Jr. trying to make things happen on the inside. Also the 83 Nober on the outside. So these guys all trying to make things happen here. A little bit further back in the field. Just in front of you, see that bright green car. That is Krahula. Remember, driver who qualified much further up. P4 he qualified, Krahula did. And now he's trying to make things happen on the 31 is showing. So Krahula slowly but steadily trying to work his way back towards the front. He's got DJ Beverly in the 02, that blue car, just a few spots in front of him. Another driver who's had issues trying to make his way to the front. One of the drivers that I'm keeping an eye on, though, our winner from last round, Woodrow Mahan, P3 right now. He is slowly closing on Jeff Ward back at the front. That is the 3rd place driver in that 07 Jack Daniels machine, trying to make things happen on Jeff Ward for 2nd.
Yeah, and behind him in 4th place is still Dale Mears. Reminder, once again, we've kind of beaten this dead horse now, but he started back in 22nd place, and eventually he was going to plateau. You had to wonder, mind you, he could have plateaued once he got out to the lead, but looks like he's plateaued in 4th place here. He's moved up 18 spots, and the top 3 are proving a little difficult to pass right now. And in fact, he might be threatened in a couple of laps by Tommy Ryan there in 5th.
Yeah, I'll tell you, not a bad place to plateau if you're going to be hanging out in 4th place. Del Mears, strong run right now. He's got behind him a couple of big names of Tommy Ryan and Jake Wright. 5th and 6th, looking to try to steal away that 4th spot and a stronger spot inside the top 5. Ryan, a former winner. You can see the Gale Force Racing on the back lid, the back deck of that Del Mears machine, that 112 machine. Up the inside, take a little bit of a look, is Tommy Ryan to run on board on the bumper of that 6th machine right on the back end of that Camaro of Del Mears. They head down the front straightaway. Still your leader, Brian Yatzik. 2nd place, Jeff Ward, Woodrow Mahan, Del Mears, Tommy Ryan. Your top 5 here is going to be closing in on that top 5 here, Sam.
Yeah, actually we're closing in on the halfway point, so let's give you the full advocate through the field here as we approach halfway. As you mentioned, Brian Yatzik leading right now to Jeff Ward, who is actually eating him up a little bit. A good battle shaping up for 3rd between Woodrow Mahan, Del Mears and Tommy Ryan now right on his rear bumper. We'll get back to this as soon as possible. Let's round out the top 10. Jake Wright, Brian Mellendorf, Joe Hassett, and then in 9th place we have Jody Green and Paul Pepper. Rounding out the top 10 right now. All of those having solid nights, but boy, this battle for 3rd is really heating up down the back straight.
Yeah, as you say, that top 10 has kind of split away, but look at him on screen right now. You got that 07 right there leading the way. He is 3rd place. Woodrow Mahan, he's looking to try to make things happen and start coming around. The lap driver there on the outside, but right behind, look at, they're going to go 3 wide. 112 of Mears, and then right behind him is Ryan. They go double file, smart move. Ryan on the inside is maybe going to take a look at the Mears. 3rd, 4th, 5th. That is a bit of a go wide by 07. Here comes Mears on the inside, down the back straightaway. Ryan's going to go with him down into turn number 3.
So that will push Woodrow Mahan back 2 positions into 5th place, but for how long? He could look at the crossover on Ryan, but he doesn't choose to do it. And Woodrow, even though he has that win at Talladega, he needs a couple of good results to break into the top 20 in points so that he'd be eligible for the chase. Those wins only help you if you're in the top 20 in points. Right now he's 26th in points coming into this race, but as we mentioned, a long time to go in the championship. Here comes Tommy Ryan looking down the inside for Del Mears. This is for 3rd on lap 51, and he's going to take it.
Indeed he is. He's going to get around the inside. As you say, you got to be inside that top 20 to make things happen here for the points. For that chase, the 007, excuse me, the 07 there of Woodrow Mahan's probably going to try to make sure he has a good finish. Doesn't want to push too hard as we just get past the halfway point, but he is starting to close in again on Mears as Ryan has gotten around as well. So right now, Yatzik, Ward out front, Tommy Ryan up P3. He's going to try and close the deal. As you say, the top 2 drivers on screen right now. The 89 of Jeff Ward now starting to close it up on the 55 of Yatzik. Remember, Yatzik got things done with that jump on the restart. He's able to make things happen. Now you're a leader, but here comes Ward. Ward was strong in a long run, across the start-finish line. 89 looks like he's got a bit of something to say about who's going to lead this race.
Yeah, keeping an eye on this battle. I've also been keeping an eye on the moves James Bahula is getting on the field, back in the middle of the field. He just swung from the high side to the low side, going down the front straight to go by about a couple of cars and move into 13th. 12 positions in front though. The battle for the lead is heating up. Jeff Ward has ran Yatzik back down, been taking better care of his tyres, but catching is one thing, passing is another.
Absolutely, you said it before, right when they got going, right when Yatzik made that move for the top spot, we were talking about tires. Are you going to have enough? Look at the line difference here. Yatzik down on the yellow. Here is Ward on the outside trying to keep a bit of a run here. He's got a run going down in turn number 3. Nice and smooth. We got a long time to do it here, buddy, and Ward knows it. He's going to try to curl this thing in, carry the speed on exit, try to make things happen when he can. Yatzik with a tight line. Ward with the outside line. Both of these guys cutting very good lap times, but I got a feeling Ward's got a little something in the packet.
See a battle going on for 5th place here. Drake Wright ahead of Brian Mellendorf and not too far behind them. Woodrow Mahan and Joe Hassett are riding side by side. Keeping an eye on Joe Hassett, he's also a driver who started at the back of the field and has worked his way up here. He started in 20th, he's worked his way up to 8th. So he's passed half the field in the first half of the race. What can he do in the second half?
Whoa, you know, we were just talking about Mahan. Remember, he was up there running with Mears and Ryan, and now here he is back in 7th and coming under fire from Hassett. So Wright has gotten around in the 27. Mellendorf has gotten around in the 41. That Oreo car on the outside. Remember the 07 of Mahan was inside the top 5 and making things happen. Now he is back there in 7th and coming under fire there from the NOS machine. The number 1 machine of Joe Hassett. Just behind him is the Geico machine of the 13. That is Jody Green there in 9th.
I think there was a bit of contact in the battle for 16th over in turns 3 and 4. The cars keep going though, but it's cost Jeff Ryan a lot of time to Brandon Smith. That's unfortunate because Jeff Ryan had been running in the front half of the field all race long. He'd actually been in the top 10, something. He's not always up there in the top 10, so he was having a good night, but that's going to hurt him a little bit. Still has about 40 laps to get it back up front though. Talking about back up front, pretty much the same situation up there right now. Brian Yarzik continues to lead to Jeff Ward. Ward just can't find a way by.
No, he can't find a way by, but I'll tell you what, somebody I'm keeping an eye on right now. P3, number 6, Tommy Ryan, slowly closing in. We saw this before in our last broadcast. Slowly but surely, Ryan was making things happen, closing them in here. Last time by, Brian Yarzik, 34-1. Jeff Ward, 34-1. Tommy Ryan, 34-0. Ryan, a 10th faster last time by, making things happen. Don't count out the number 6. That black and yellow machine is coming close. Tommy Ryan making charge happen now. And on the inside, here comes Ward, indeed, down to the inside of turn number 1. On the inside of 55 Yarzik holding the outside to come out of turn number 2. Plenty of work here. Plenty of time to go. Now remember, down at turn number 3, he's going to get a little bit of free here for Ward on the inside. Yatzik's going to have plenty of room to curl the backside. The advantage could go to the 89. 89 slides up the track a little bit. Yatzik still with the advantage across the line.
Yeah, he's really trying to make that low line work. He's not able to get it done though. He has to go behind. Meanwhile, they just put James Pahula a lap down with 40 laps on the end. Pahula short pitting once again, trying to make it to the end of the race. And now this time, Jeff Ward is looking to the outside of Brian Yarzik, and this is the lane he wants. This, I think, is the lane where he can open up that turn. He's not going to burn off the tyres by doing this, but as these two battle side by side, as you mentioned, Smithy, Tommy Ryan is loving what he's seeing out of his windshield.
Absolutely, Ryan is coming, but as you said, the 89 loves that high side. Remember, we saw it when we were running on board. Yatzik on the inside, holding that inside line a little bit through there. It's a tighter way around the 89. Look at the momentum on the outside. Here comes the 89 on the back straightaway. Side by side as they go down into turn number 3. The 89 is going to have a little bit of an advantage and is able to close the door. 89, new leader, Jeff Ward.
Woodrow Mahan became the first of our leaders to come down pit road, and now this battle has brought Tommy Ryan right up to them, and now you've got to begin to wonder how much have these two leaders burnt their tyres off while they were battling each other. Tommy Ryan being back there and a bit, not necessarily slow, but not as fast as the top two, has been able to save his cars a little bit. We'll wait and see if he can do anything with these guys. Pass for 5th place, Brian Mellendorf goes right by Jake Wright on the back straight.
Now, as you say, tires are starting to come into play here. We're deep in the run here with these guys. We're starting to come into what could possibly be the final stop of the race. Remember, we're talking there earlier about a 35-40 lap window on fuel. So if you're going to stop now, you can definitely make it the rest of the way. On screen right now, you do have Mellendorf in the 41. He's just gotten around Wright, former winner in the series. That 27 machine staying right with him. These guys are going to slowly start coming to the front, trying to keep their stuff underneath them. Next up is going to be Del Mears in the 112 machine in P4. Pit stops are starting to happen in earnest, though. These guys are definitely going to be coming in. Here comes Mears out of fourth place. Let's see who's going to blink next.
Yeah, Joe Hassett was in on the previous lap, as were a couple other cars. I think also we're going to begin running into drivers running out of fuel. Also, well, not running out of fuel, but the end of the fuel run shouldn't be too far away. And now that Del Mears in fourth place has came into the pits, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these top three pitting in the next couple of laps. Although they're not going to do it this time, as they come around to complete lap 64.
No, indeed, and as far as fuel goes, these guys got probably good another 10 laps or so. So if these guys want to push the envelope as far as fuel goes, they could do it. The good news for these top few guys is they got a bit of a lead on everyone else. Bad news right now, how about P3 Tommy Ryan? You saw him right on the back bumper of these top two guys, but he's already started to fall back a little bit. Even further back from him are Mellendorf, Wright, Green, Beverly, Stallman, next few guys in line. So yeah, they're going to start losing hand over fist time with these guys getting that short pit in. Those early stops with the fresh the race tires going on. Right now, Ryan in. He came from third. This is going to be the true test, guys, right here. Tommy Ryan making the first stop out of the top three. We'll see what happens right here with fresh tires.
Yeah, well, you can't blame him for coming in. You mentioned he dropped back a bit of the top two leaders. Why not? If you're off a little bit of a pace, might as well come in. But I think a true test may have already been played here. How is he going to come out as the leaders now come into the pits? How is Tommy Ryan going to come out with relation to Del Mears, who was in fourth place and pit a couple laps before him?
Absolutely, Mears did blink first as far as the top five go. He was the first one to come in. Mellendorf still doing another run. Wright making another run. Green making another run. So the rest of these guys trying to make things happen with a little bit of a later stop. Those guys even further out. So the question is, who's going to have the best equipment here as we start reaching towards the very end?
Yeah, I don't like the decision by some of these drivers to stay out as late as they have. I'm thinking Mears may have actually ran into more problems. He's been shown quite a ways back right now. I'm almost wondering if he had to come in to serve some kind of penalty. Meanwhile, our leaders re-emerge. Our leaders are re-emerging back on the track. Brian Yarzik is far ahead of Jeff Ward, it looked like. Sorry, the other way round. Jeff Ward far ahead of Brian Yarzik. Oh, and Tommy Ryan is actually battling Jeff Ward, and they just had to go by Brian Mellendorf lead on track right now. That kind of broke up our battle a little bit. So yeah, Brian Yarzik has dropped back quite a ways of this battle, but we do have a new battle for the lead now. Jeff Ward ahead of Tommy Ryan.
Well, it's the lead with quotations right now. Brian Mellendorf, still your leader because he is yet to pit. He's trying to play that long game. As you can see right now, if we can catch him on the TV screen, we got Brian Mellendorf out on the front. Jody Green just behind him, trying to make his thing happen. These guys are playing the long and wait. They're trying to stay out front, trying to make things happen and hoping for a yellow flag. We got Jody Green having some issues coming down pit lane. I think he's able to get it woed up. Mellendorf still going around, you guys. It is Brian Mellendorf out front hoping for that caution. He's got everybody else going around him. He's going to roll the dice.
Mark Nobert almost pulled out a caution. He's all beat up on the back straight. But our director just pointed out to me, even though this battle between Jeff Ward and Tommy Ryan, and Ward in the wall, hard, keeps it pointing straight, but Ryan goes right by. That wasn't for the provisional window, because Woodrow Mahan, by short pitting, is actually far and away ahead of Tommy Ryan. So that will be for the provisional lead. I don't know how Jeff Ward, who it will be in third place once this is all said and done, all these pit stops if it stays green, I don't know how Jeff Ward's kept that pointing in the right direction.
You know, I'll tell you what, Sam, that just looked like a possible little bit of a mistake. He's trying to go in hot. As you can see it on screen right now, that blue car on the outside is going to carry the speed out. A little bit of a touch in the wall. Came back down, snagged Tommy Ryan a little bit. Ward is definitely the one who took the sharp end of that, but Ryan's still going. This could be very, very close news for Mellendorf, who is now on pit lane as you see him now, the Oreo, number 41, getting service from his crew.
Yeah, he's really lost out here. He's lost a lot of track time. Granted, it will have the newest tyres when he does come back out on track. Battle we need to be watching right now is between the driver taking the lead right at this point in time as they go by Mellendorf in the pits. Woodrow Mahan leads, and it looks like there's a big gap to Tommy Ryan behind, but it's not going to be a big gap for very long. Tommy Ryan is coming, and Jeff Ward hitting the wall, I think, may have helped gift the victory to Tommy Ryan here. Now Jarzik has gone by Ryan for by Ward for third place, because of course Ward has all that damage. So Brian Jarzik is still in this, but he's far behind Tommy Ryan now. I have a feeling he's going to need a caution to really get back in this lead battle.
Well, you may think that. I'll tell you right now, we're looking at it on screen. You do have Ryan chasing down Mahan. Mahan pit about 5 laps behind, or in front, excuse me. Mahan 5 laps sooner than Ryan. He has the advantage. Bit of a moment there for both drivers to start heading down into the corner.
I think Ryan may have got a piece of the wall, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him.
Doesn't seem to be hurting him, and he's going down to the inside, going to take this lead away he's trying to do. At the line, barely, is the number 6 of Ryan. It's going to be a new guy out the sharp end. Tommy Ryan, new leader. Woodrow Mahan, P2. Brian Jarzik, 3rd. Jeff Ward, after that moment, is going to be 4th with Big Joe Hassard, P5.
And behind them, the first of our short hitters. It didn't pay off for him the first time around, but it has the second time around. James Kahula was battling for 13th place ahead of that round of green flag pit stops. He is now in 6th.
Definitely was a short pit for Kahula, that 2-4. That green machine has been in pit in victory lane twice this year. I don't know if it's going to happen again this year, but he's playing a bit of a smart game. He's trying some different things out. Didn't have things go his way. Remember, we saw him back there in the 24th position after qualifying 4th. He had to make that stop. He's looking for some track position. The yellow comes out. Don't be surprised if Kahula gets back in this game in a big way.
Caution hasn't came out for over 60 laps. We had 3 cautions at the start of this in. Now 25 laps left to go for Tommy Ryan as he crosses the line. Woodrow Mahan hasn't dropped far back of him. He's running in 2nd place there, but he did just lose half a second to Brian Jarzik in 3rd place that time around. It looks like right now, if another caution doesn't come out, Brian Jarzik is going to be on that left side podium spot once again.
Jartzik's basically on the pro circuit of getting 2nd place. But I'll tell you what, I think he might be in pretty good shape here. Tires in pretty good shape. If he can just be nice and smooth and get to the end, he might be a good shot to take it to Tommy Ryan. Regardless, the 55 has been towards the sharp end most of the season. He's starting to close in on the 07 Mahan. Again, these guys are on different pit strategies. The 55 could still have it within his sights. He's not that far behind to take the fight and maybe get himself to that first W.
And there he goes, up into 2nd place. Now, of course, the unfortunate thing for Jarzik here is he's really the only one of these who needs a win for his chase chances. Tommy Ryan is already high in the points for the win this season. Woodrow Mahan is 26th in the points and has a win. I think if he keeps showing up at the rest of the races this season and putting on performances like this, he'll get in the chase, no doubt. No doubt will Brian Jarzik as well, but he would love to solidify it with a W. Right now, he has been running slightly faster laps than Tommy Ryan. He's about 1.5 seconds back. The problem I find, Smithy, is that in our previous run, Tommy Ryan was fast at the end of the run. He seemed to take care of his tyres a bit better. Brian Jarzik kind of burned his tyres up early, so it almost seems that if Brian's going to run down Tommy and pass him for the lead, he's got to do it soon, because I think the later they go into the run, the more we'll see Tommy Ryan hold on to that lead.
You know, that's a good point. It could be that Ryan's got that long-term pace. But the one thing I want to point out here is, remember, Brian Jarzik pushed hard early to try to get that lead away from the top spot of Jeff Ward at the time. He was able to get there and then hold on to it until very, very late in the run when Ward got him back. Ryan was able to reel both those guys in, but it was Ryan who right there at the end fell off in a big way in one lap and then ended up pulling in. As you can see on screen right now, the aforementioned Mahan and Ward. Ward on the inside. I got a feeling Ward is going to find his way past Mahan, as indeed he does down at turn number 3. So Ward has moved his way up into the 3rd position. Mahan back into 4th. So the guys who've been at the sharp end all day are there again. I got a feeling Jacek's probably got a little bit something left in the tank. He pit 1 lap later than Ryan did, and we did see him stay out front, or at least P2, for almost the entirety of the last run.
James Krahula comes down into the pits again. This is definitely an unscheduled stop. James's problem, though, is the same problem that Joe Hassett is having right now. They didn't short pit too early as far as fuel is concerned, but as far as tyres are concerned, Joe Hassett now beginning to drop back through the field a little bit. Jake Wright just flew by him for 6th place, and DJ Beverly in 7th is catching up with Joe Hassett there for 6th.
You know what, for Krahula, I could see him kind of making this kind of choice here to try not to go the entire run, but a little surprised out of Hassett here. I mean, with Krahula, he's got the guaranteed chase run. Hassert's not exactly the case. I'd be a little surprised he's making this run, but regardless, he's going to make things happen, try to push as hard as he can, get as many spots as he can with here fresh tires.
Yeah, well, Hassert's been trying to work his way up through positions all race 1 after a poor qualifying effort saw him start in 20th. He was 11th fastest in practice, and we know he's fast because he sits pretty solid in the points now coming in. Well, at least I believe he did. He's 13th in the points, it's not too shabby. 2 top 5 finishes this season, and he's only started 6 races. So yeah, he does have a pretty good finishing rate. It doesn't look like it's going to be another top 5 tonight. Looks like he'll get his 4th top 10 in 7 races though.
No, I'd have to agree with you, but you know what? We got to move the camera on over to P2. Brian Jacek. In 2 laps, he has stolen away a half a second. Brian Jacek now only a half a second away from Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan, your leader in the 6th, that yellow and black car ahead of him. Right now you can see it on screen. We are on board with Jacek. The last 2 laps, Jacek has been one of the fastest drivers on track. He's peeled away a half a second from that lap. Let's see how much he gets away right now. Down to just a half a second. Another 3/10 for Brian Jacek. Jacek on the move, looking for that first win of the year.
One driver who was running in the top 10 just got back a couple of positions. Last lap was Dan Murray. He practiced and qualified pretty high, but fell to the back early. Was in the top 10 and is now dropping back through the field, but that's said and done with. Something that's coming up in the future is this battle for the lead, as he mentioned. Here they come across the line, this time by Tommy Ryan. A 10th slower, Jacek a 10th up. He is 2/10 quicker, Jacek. So that's going to eat up even more into that lead. 15 laps left to go.
15 laps left to go, and I gotta tell you, I think that blue and yellow 55 is the one you gotta watch. The HPP machine is going to be the one to beat. The 55 at Jacek, he spent most of his time out front. Ryan again making the pit 1 lap early. The only thing I can have to assume is that maybe Ryan has saved the equipment a little, maybe just a little too much, as here comes Jacek right on the back bumper, only a car length away. The 55 is going to start putting the pressure on the 6. Look at this little bit higher line out of the 55 as they come through 1 and 2. He's going to try to get that run down the back straight away. Let's see if he takes a peek in turn number 3. No, he's going to stay behind him. But right on the back bumper, curl around 3 and 4. Let's see if the 55 can get a bit of a run. The 55 definitely looks to be like the guy to beat right now, looking for that P1 position here at Kentucky. Down to the inside, possibly, no. Gonna hang out one more time.
Well, Jacek knows he's got to make his move soon, because if he stays back there too long, he's going to have that front air being taken off of his nose. It's going to make his car a little bit tighter, hurt his front tyres a little bit more, and also you've got to remember he's got to get this move done within 5 or 6 laps left to go, because caution flag with 5 or 6 to go in iRacing, no green flag shifted, that would end it, and he's going to make it with 12 to go. Here he comes, down to the inside of Tommy Ryan. This is the hard way around though, and if he can't complete the move, that's actually going to burn off his tyres a little bit. He entered a little bit too hot, a little bit too low. I thought he was going to slide up into Ryan, but he actually, it's a drag race down the back straight. He kept up with him pretty good. What's going to happen in turns 3 and 4 though?
6 on the outside, that is. Ryan trying to hold that high side on the 55. 55 comes up a little bit, but Ryan still has the momentum as they come off the corner at the line. It is real close. 55, I think, at the line. Indeed, he is 1/1000th of a second, but we still have 11 laps to go as they come around one more time side by side. The 6 and the 55 putting on one heck of a show here for the PRL series.
Oh, I think Jacek's fighting a losing battle here though, because if Tommy can really hold his own on that high side like that, his tyres aren't hurting as much as Jacek's, but maybe spoke too soon. Jacek actually clears Ryan that time. He needs to get up high. He needs to defend that high side. I feel that that's the quickest way around, but he's leaving the lane open there. Tommy Ryan could have taken it back, but he chose not to. And right now, he's actually a couple car lengths behind Jacek. Has Ryan saved anything? If he has, he needs to put it out there now. He's running out of time otherwise.
Look at him ride on the back bumper, the 6 and the 55. The 6 taking a look on the inside. Let's see if he can get a run coming off. It is definitely a mono battle. We're looking at less than 10 to go across the line here in Kentucky. This could be Jacek's first win. Remember, Ryan has already won. Ryan won at Vegas, another mile-and-a-half circuit. We've seen Jacek towards the sharp end. He's looking for his first win of the season here. Less than 10 to go. Looks like the 5.5 is the one to beat.
He's going to pull away, and meanwhile at the back of the field had a couple of cars come down pit road in the closing laps. Jeff Ryan and Jonathan Lawrence. Meanwhile for Del Mears fans, he has really fallen off the pace. He actually got involved in a mine incident with a lap car of Mark Allen that led to some words over the radio. Their radio tracks were disabled. So that's been going on at the back. Meanwhile, this incredible battle has been going on at the front. Right now it's broken up a little bit, as we mentioned. Jacek has broke up a little bit ahead of Tommy Ryan, and these drivers have raced each other for a long time. Ryan knows how much a victory would mean to Jacek, but I'm pretty sure he's not giving up, otherwise you would have seen him back off a lot more than what he has. Although I think Tommy Ryan overshot turns 3 and 4 there a little bit. That will help Jacek pull away just a little bit more down the front straight. 7 laps left to go.
On paper, Jacek is the guy you would think that has the better shot. He pit 1 lap later than Ryan. He was the guy at the sharp end. Jeff
Ryan has wrecked on the back straight, and that will bring out a caution. And we should have about 2 laps left to go for the restart here.
No, as you say, Sam, absolutely. That's going to give us a restart. Let's take a look at the replay. This is Ryan coming off of, I believe, turn number 2. And whoop, in the wall he goes, the 88. All by himself. That's too bad for Jeff. I'll tell you, it's really too bad for our front runners. Although I'll tell you what, Tommy Ryan was probably hoping for this, so he has another shot at it. You see, we're on board with Jeff Ryan right now as he heads down towards turn number 1. He's going to sail it down in here. And as he comes off of turn number 2, the back end just wants to try to get there a little bit sooner than he does. Back end steps out, tries to save it. Think. The wall, and that's all she wrote. Caution flag on the speedway here at Kentucky.
Now, I know Tommy and Jeff have the same last name, but I don't think they're related, so I wouldn't begin with the conspiracy theories of Tommy Ryan being helped in his chances for victory here. But the big question is anyone going to come into the pits to take tyres? Because tyres make a major difference, but we have 18 cars on the lead lap. Oh, here come the leaders. They're coming in, are they? Yes, they are.
Do.
And if enough cars at the back stay out, that could be race over for them. But it looks like the rest of the leaders are coming in too, the rest of the lead lap cars.
Well, I'll tell you who did not come in. Number 41, Brian Mellendorf. Mellendorf did not come in. Let's talk about who else didn't come in. Del Mears, but he was 1 lap down. A few other guys 1 lap down. I got a feeling coming down pit road was the way to go. Mellendorf is going to have old equipment. He may be the leader, I think he might be hosed. I don't think he's got a chance.
Pierre Daigle wins the race out of a pit road on 2 tyres. Jeff Ward wins the race behind that with Jake Wright, Brian Jarzik and Tommy Ryan. I don't think Brian Jarzik is going to win this race today. So Pierre Daigle wins the race off a pit road with 2 tyres. That might help Brian Mellendorf a little bit. Really, Brian's got to hope he gets a good restart and that caution comes out pretty soon, right after the green waves.
No, as you say, definitely, it's going to be a nod to some of those guys playing the off strategy, whether it be 2 tires or what have you. We do have yet another lucky dog, the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. That's going to be James Krahula getting that lucky dog. He's going to get back on the lead lap here. Remember, he's played some off strategy the entire time. The 24, the Advocare 24, that green machine, getting that lucky dog. I'll tell you what, at the sharp end, you got Mellendorf did not come in. As they come across the line, we're getting a little bit better idea what's going on. We had some 2 tired drivers coming in. How about Pierre Daigle? P2 right now. Going to have just a couple laps to go at the end. Interesting move. I think it could pay huge dividends. Pierre Daigle, P2, Jeff Ward, we know he's good. Jake Wright, P4, and Brian Yatzik was the leader back in P5 here, Sam.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan has been given an EOL, end of lines, for the restart. Not really sure the reason why for that. He's obviously come down and got some new tyres because he's going to have to go to the back anyway. But that takes Tommy Ryan out of the equation. And yeah, you've got to figure here, as long as Pierre Daigle and Brian Mellendorf don't get involved in incidents, this is a good strategic call, just for the fact that they probably won't pull back that much. In what are we looking at here? They're coming to 3 to go, and I think the pace car lights will go off when they go across the line. So I think we're going to have a 2-lap shootout here. In iRacing, if they make it to the white flag, any kind of crash would not end the race. So when they get the green flag with 2 to go, if a caution comes out before the white, race is over. If they make it to the white, they're racing to the checkered.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's not exactly in the iRacing sim to have green-white checkers, but we've got ourselves one here today. Brian Mellendorf is going to lead him down with Pierre Daigle to his outside. We do have those lights off on the pace car. It's going to be the 41, the Oreo machine, on the pole side. His outside, Pierre Daigle. Remember, 2 tires for Daigle. No trip down pit road for Mellendorf. That's your front row. Jeff Ward, our pole sitter, P3, with Jake Wright to his outside. We've seen right towards the sharp end all season. Brian Yatzik, former leader, just before this yellow. I got my eyes on Ward, Wright, and Yatzik for this possible W.
I'm going to take Wright out of that. Mellendorf and Daigle, the biggest sins they have working against them right now is their old tyres. Daigle on the left-hand side. And granted, the cars behind them may have 2 tyres as well, but I think they've been up front enough, and you can see Daigle trying to clean off his tyres there. I think they've been up front enough where they'll be able to fight here. If a caution comes out before they get to turn 1, Mellendorf has got it. He's going to get a good restart, I think. What's going to be interesting if he doesn't, will Ward make the move on the back straight? And will Brian Jarzik be able to follow him through? We're about to find out. 2 laps left to go. Mellendorf leads the bed to the green flag. He does not want to spin his tyres here. Daigle does. Horrible restart for the high side. Great restart for Mellendorf. He has a huge lead over Ward as they go down into turns 1 and 2. But if it stays green, Ward is going to be coming like a freight train.
I'll tell you what, one thing I want to point out, the 27 to right. Passed on the inside. We got one sideways. That is the 07. It is a yellow flag. That is the 07. That is Mahan that got around sideways. I believe that's going to be the 4-1, bringing home the victory. Mellendorf.
So, Mellendorf got what he needed. The caution came out over in turns 1 and 2 right there. Staying out was the right decision. Only one driver did it. And a bit of contact there. there you see Woodrow Mahan, a couple other cars involved, smoking engines, and every car running all race long. It all unfolds at the end there. And we'll get one more replay of it, but then we need to go back to live action because White Flag is already out at Kentucky Speedway and Mellendorf is going to take the victory, and it will be his first win of the season. We thought Brian Jarzik would lock himself into the chase. It looks like that is going to go to Mellendorf here, working his way down the back straight. They've caught up with the pace car. He still has to cross the line in first place, but that's, I think my grandmother could do that by this point. Boy, Mellendorf. Wow, what a victory this is going to be.
No, as you say, that is huge for Brian. We saw him at the sharp end in earlier broadcasts, and that is Brian Mellendorf. I'll tell you what, that's all about the dice roll right there, guys. He had a chance to go down pit road with everybody else. Said, you know what? I'm going to take my chances. Well, guess what, Brian? You just got the W, my friend. The winner today, number 41 in the Oreo machine, Brian Mellendorf, first win of the season.
Jeff Ward second, Brian Jarzik third, and the rest of the field come across the line behind them. We'll have a full race rundown here when we come back on the GSRC. Congratulations to Brian Mellendorf, your winner here at Kentucky Speedway, the Kentucky 150. welcome back to Kentucky Speedway, where Brian Menendorf just won the Kentucky 150 here. And we have to note out a mistake that we made. Pierre Daigle, although he came down pit road, he actually never stopped in his pit stall, so he was on old tyres there for that restart. That probably explains why he spun his tyres and dropped back through the field on that final run. But Brelin Mellendorf came home the winner, the only driver who stayed out on the final caution. Jeff Ward was behind him and Brian Jarzik in third place. There you see Big Joe Hassett coming home with a solid fourth place finish ahead of DJ Beverly. Dan Murray was sitting just outside the top 10 before that final caution. He comes home with a sixth place. Talk about good finishes here in the top 10 for Chad Stallman, Jody Green, Brandon Smith and Paul Pepper. Drivers we really didn't mention that much up front today, Smithy.
Indeed, and adding to the guys that we didn't talk about a bunch is the 11th place finisher, Don Runkle Jr., their 11th. The guys that we've talked about earlier in the season, but unfortunately talking about in the back half of this results sheet, James Krahula, 12th, followed by Tommy Ryan, having an issue, end of line penalty there at the end if you're wondering where the number 6 was. Tommy Ryan in 13th. Pierre Daigle spun those tires at the end, 14th, followed by Benny Ellison in 15th. Tony Schoen in 16th, Jake Wright 17th, Jeff Ryan 18th, Woodrow Mahan in 19th, Brad Fulham in 20th, followed by Del Mears. Remember, we saw him towards the sharp end for a good chunk there. Del Mears in 21st, Jonathan Lords 22nd, Mark Norbert 23rd, and having those issues early and running up the field 24th, Mark Allen.
The other three drivers you see listed there did not start the race, but let's go back to the other end of the field where we had, this is how I usually lead into it. Let's usually go to the front of the field where we have more cheery faces. However, I have a feeling the first driver we're going to speak to isn't exactly in a cheery mood. Brian Jarzik, blast, foiled again.
Yeah, you could say that.
You all came into the pits on that final caution, and only one car stayed out. I'm assuming you were expecting a lot more.
Well, I mean, you know, when it really boiled down to it, we shouldn't have had a caution anyway. You know, with you running down 6 to go, and you know, I don't know. Turn 2 wasn't a big issue all night, and magically someone spins out of turn 2. So, you know, it's one of them deals. You know, just kind of, if anybody's been a fan of Global Sim Racing Channel, you kind of know that the ends of these races, you know, tend to be the bane of my existence, and tonight was no different. And you know, I took 2 tires, and one guy stayed out, and the guy that stayed out won the race. And you know, I don't know how a bunch of guys with 4 tires ran over each other back in the pack, but you know, I don't know. I just, you know, we had that thing won, man. I mean, I was, you know, when I first got on iRacing and I first got into league racing, you know, Tommy Ryan was a guy that I really looked up to. He was really fast, really clean, and to run him down, to get around him for the win, or was, you know, it was going to be the win. Man, that was cool. I had a big smile on my face, and I'm sure he did too. We had a good battle, and unfortunately, somebody else decided that they couldn't hold the wheel off of turn 2, and you know, it is what it is. So I just, you know, we gave this HPP simulation, houseofjerky.com, simracingapps.com, Ford Mustang a great showing. I'm sure that run down there was a great show. I imagined you guys calling it kind of kept a smile on my face there. So, you know, so that's, just foiled again.
Yeah, absolutely. Very unfortunate to see you not walk away with a victory. Now, earlier in the race, we saw that you kind of had a better short run car, or at least you got into the lead at one point, charged away from Jeff Ward, and then Phil kind of ran you at the back at the end there. But then at the end of the race, it seemed you did a better job of conserving your tyres, and that helped you in the long run, as you mentioned, past Tommy Ryan for the lead on track.
Yeah, Sam, the first run, I only got about 10 minutes on track before the race started, and it was kind of hard to really gauge. I was trying to work on a hot lap and kind of figure that out, and I didn't really get a good run on it. And, the first run, I really, really abused the hell out of the right front, and it wasn't too happy at the end of the run. Second run, I kind of put it together a little bit, and then that third run, that's kind of when the magic happened there, and I figured out the right way to drive it, and that'd keep the tires on it. And I wasn't trying to slide it, and I just kind of held on there, and it was good. I'm typically I'm all right on the long run. I wanted to, there's kind of a strategy there that I had where I wanted to make that middle stint longer than my last stint, so I kind of had an idea of when the wall would hit on the tires and when they would just kind of fall away. So it wasn't bad. We'll go third and get up there, and that was just the big thing, is that it was hot, slick. Tire management was, everything, and Tommy is fantastic at managing his tires. And when I started running them down, I thought, man, he's just messing with me. Like there's no way I'm running down Tommy Ryan on a long run. And I kept catching him, and I kept waiting for him to pick it up and step back out. And he never did. And I got under him, and I thought, oh man, here we go. And that was fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, commiserations on not taking home the win. Maybe you need a couple more twists on the circuit. Well, we'll get that next race at Road America. So best of luck at Road America.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not, ask anybody that knows me, I'm not much of a road racer. I'm really just going to kind of try to go there and get a little bit more practice, turning left and right. Road America is a fun track. These cars really, really have, it's really fun to wheel these things around here. So I just got to kind of get into the rhythm of it. And, I'm not expecting a miracle to go up there and win, but hey, you never know. Like I said, I just got to get some practice in on this HPPsimulation.com Mustang, and we'll see if we can get up there in the podium next week.
So that was our third place finisher, Brian Jarzik. Let's go on to the other side of the podium now. The Smithy has caught up with Jeff Ward.
Yeah, indeed I have. Jeff Ward, I got to tell you, man, you started things off nicely with the pole position. Things went kind of your way at the beginning, nice and smooth. And just tell us a little bit about your race from the start to the finish there.
Yeah, we had a pretty good night there. First off, I got to give congrats to Brian. He made an excellent pit call there at the end. And with some of the guys not taking four out there, you just knew that the caution would probably fly. So that was a real smart move on his part. But we had a pretty good car tonight. Actually, I'd say we had probably the one to beat, especially on the long run. So I think we led the most laps, and had some battles there with the 55. He was pretty good, but I think we had a little better long run car, and then kind of got into that incident there with Tommy Ryan. He got on my quarter panel there, and I was trying to give him room. I seen him kind of inching up, and it was just one of them racing deals where we ran out of room there and took some pretty heavy right front damage. But it's my home track, Kentucky, and I really came out here wanting to win this thing, so I put a lot of practice in, and we come close, but we still got the Cup Series tomorrow, so maybe we can get it done there.
Well, Jeff, you were definitely one of the guys at the sharp end all day. Again, like I said, you get that pole position at the front most of the time. Tell me what was running through your head a little bit at the end, made that call to head down pit road. What were you thinking there? Just a few laps from the end, decided to make it a pit road stop with just a couple laps to go.
Well, these things are so slow on the old tires like that. I mean, you seen the race winner there, Brian. I mean, if we would have went one more lap, he would have got dusted real quick. So it's just, it's a risky take. I felt like if I could come down and get two and just hang on to it, I could at least get a top three there. So, and it was loose as hell going into turn one. I about lost it trying to run down the 41. So I'm almost glad that caution come out, or we might have ended up in the fence. But yeah, it's just a risky call you got to do there. There ain't no right or wrong answer. So it kind of played in our favor, and I'm happy with second.
Happy with second. Is any of that because you've already got that W from Bristol earlier this year? You're locked in the chase. We expecting to see you for the duration of the season, going for that championship at the end of the year?
Yeah, I'm championship racing. I mean, I'm in top 20. I got to get some good finishes to stay there, obviously. But tonight, just being happy with second was because I had so much right front damage there. The car was really giving up the turns, getting tight on long runs. So I felt like I was lucky to hang on to a top 3 there.
Lucky for a top 3, perhaps. We definitely knew you were one of the guys to beat today. Yeah, nice job today. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I give a shout out to my teammate Eric Anthony Brundy's. We just started this new team, Brundwood Sim Sports, and finishes like this are looking good for the team. So we just keep running in the top 5 in races, and things are looking good. And that's about it. Just friends and family, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, nice job on that second place. Look forward to seeing you here future in the season. I believe Sam's got caught up with our winner today, Brian Millendorf.
Yeah, let's go down to Victory Lane, where the one driver who made the right call at the end there probably has a giant smile on his face. Congratulations on your win here today, Brian.
Thank you. That caught me by surprise. I should have pitted. I don't know why I stayed out, but I'm happy to steal one, that's for sure.
How long could have you kept that lead, in your opinion, had it gone green to the end?
Probably another 3 seconds. I was toast. I was plowing already, and Jeff was checking up not to run me over, so I got to give it to him for that.
Well, you all did 100 laps with 5 cautions. Unfortunately, one of those ended the race under caution. You were up there racing around the top 10 all day long. How was the racing tonight?
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy the hot, slick tracks like we had tonight. I was just pretty much the whole race just stuck behind Jake Wright and trying to figure out how I could get around him. And once we got about 30 laps on the tires, I could finally figure out how to get around him. And I knew if I did what everyone else did on that next to last caution, that's what I was going to do was 4th. So I went ahead and running out of fuel and had some fun running the top side afterwards. And I don't think I was going to get back to Jake had that caution not come out, but I was close. I was a second half behind him.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you were the driver with the last laugh, walking out with a victory here. How does that change your outlook for the rest of the season?
I hadn't really planned on running for the championship, but since I'm locked in, I'm in top 20 in points, I should be able to stay in there relatively simple, I hope. So keep running these races here and see what I got at the end of the season.
Does that mean we'll see you back at the road course at Road America?
Yeah, I told Krahula when I started racing again that I just came to run the road courses. That's it. And so I'm really looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. And now, of course, you can go for broke there with that win in your pocket. And, man, great racing up front all night long, Brian. But at the end of the day, it was your head that got you the victory there.
Yeah, I let out a pretty good hooray there when yellow came out, and tough luck for Brian having a caution come out. I've been on that end of things a lot of times, and Jeff, another 3-5 seconds he would have had that. But I do want to thank DJ Beverly and Coastal Safety Auditors for sponsoring us here, and James and Ricky for putting this stuff together and giving us all a place to race. And you guys do a great job in the booth, so I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate your compliments, Brian. We look forward to seeing you back at Road America in 2 weeks' time, and who knows, maybe you could get another W.
Yeah, that's what we're going to go for.
Well, that was our race winner, Brian Mellendorf, who took the checkers here today before everyone else in the Kentucky 150. And unfortunate, Smithy, we always see the best racers end under yellow, and that was a great race out there tonight. A lot of strategy and lot of great side-by-side racing, and great to see Mellendorf get his first win of the season.
No, absolutely. I mean, these guys definitely put on a show. We had a lot of 2 wide and 3 wide racing here at Kentucky tonight, and we saw some of the usual faces up front. We saw a few new faces up front, and I think it just goes to show what the PRL guys have to put out forth. Great racing, great series. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely, because in 2 weeks they will be turning left and right at Road America. However, these drivers will also be cup racing tomorrow night at the same track here at Kentucky Speedway at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be on the Global Sim Racing channel, as we mentioned, in the cup cars. So, we would like to thank you for coming out and watching tonight's race. We would also like to thank the organisers and the competitors in the Premier Racing League Coastal Safety Auditors Grand National Series for coming here tonight and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that you see on your screen. Thanks to the team today, Michael Smith, our directors Joe Peak and Andred Yamin, and our camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races, upcoming broadcasts, and live timing and scoring. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. A special thanks also goes out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. All of our upcoming races for our other series on screen, so be sure to check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.